now it looks like Joe Biden might have the oil crisis under control because he yesterday it was announced that actually he's giving more permits out than in his first year than Donald Trump did in his first 2 years. There's over 9,000 drilling permits on federal and tribal lands that are just sitting approved but unused. And then oil prices fell yesterday. So, Galen, from Life South, I mean, the Biden administration is God. Just ask them.
Well, I mean, that information is just like everything. Again, you can't trust our politicians. It's not. So what they want you to believe that to mean is like, oh, yeah, there's oil there. These gas companies, these oil companies just don't want to go get it. They want to keep it.
Well, there's 9,173 approved but unused drilling permits, Galen. They only have a 2-year shelf life.
Here's the truth of it. A, there's no evidence that there's oil in there on them, right? Because what happens is in order for you to put a hole in the ground to go get in for oil, you have to get approval for it.
So you have to get a permit, is what you're saying.
Correct. And we all know what permitting is like. Can you imagine it on the federal scale? Especially on tribal lands. I love how they say that. Because then you have to get approval from the tribe. So let's just say that they drill and they find oil. Doesn't mean the government's going to allow them to drill it, right? All that does is it says there is oil there. We want to drill it. Then you have to go back to the federal government.
And start it all over again.
The federal government has to give you approval to pump that oil out of the ground. And so I read that. I'm like, that's not factually accurate. So the reason that Biden has more of these than Trump is very simply because Trump was allowing people to drill where they knew oil was at. Right, and just because you oil doesn't come out of the ground forever, right? You tap a reserve and then you move on to the next one, right? I mean, I think that makes sense. It's not an ever filling.
You find that deposit just like gold. They found chunks of gold, the ore from gold. They dig it out of the ground, and when they got to the end of that vein, it was gone, and then they had to go dig somewhere else to find gold.
That's right, and that's what's happening. And so, and let's not forget that in 2020, and I have this quote on my phone now, for when people say, "Oh no, Biden, it's the oil companies." This is what Biden said in 2020. He said, "No more subsidies for the fossil fuel industry, no more drilling, including offshore, no ability for the oil industry to continue to drill. Period. It ends when I become president." Those are his own words, right? And so now all of a sudden he's got this huge problem because he did hurt the amount of oil we have in this country because he cut off Russia. You and I completely agree with this, but this should not be a problem for us because we should be completely sustainable.
Why is that? Why is that? Because the largest oil deposits in the world actually sit under the surface of the United States?
Yes, as the article I sent you yesterday from 2016 from the LA Times. This is in the LA Times, right? So we're not talking. This isn't Fox News.
No.
Right. This is the LA Times.
It's sitting OAN or Newsmax. This is the LA Times.
Right. LA Times in LA. They reported on a study that was done by this company. I can't remember if they were Dutch or they were an international company. They came in and they analyzed all of our drilling samples, the same ones that Biden won't let us tap into, and said, yeah, the United States has more oil than Saudi Arabia, than the entire Middle East, than all of Russia, right beneath our feet of our own soil.
And it's actually affordable now to dig it. It used to not be affordable to dig it, but now with new technology and all, it's become for years they said the reason we didn't dig oil in the United States was it was cheaper to go get the oil from the Middle East because of extracting it from the earth cost too much money in the United States. But now with technological advances and everything, it actually is affordable to get it out of the earth underneath the United States.
So think about the jobs that this would create, right? In places like, I don't know, instead of going all the way to Venezuela to negotiate oil, why don't you go to the country that is Texas, right? They're still their own country if you ask them. Go to the country of Texas and ask them to drill. Or Louisiana, or North Dakota, or South Dakota, or Alaska. There's oil reserves.
Well, you can go to the Bakken Formation. The Bakken Formation in North Dakota has a very large oil deposit.
Absolutely.
That doesn't even take into the Permian Basin in Texas, that is one of the largest oil deposits, single oil deposits in the world that we know of. Texas holds more than here's this. Texas holds more than 60 billion barrels of oil. That's
Correct.
that
Correct.
In Texas, they have as much oil in Texas as you would find, as they know of in the entire country of Mexico.
So why? So my question is very simple. Allow these people to drill the oil they have, right? And so when Peppermint Patty gets up there and says, well, why don't you ask the oil company why they haven't tapped into it? All right, well, somebody should go and ask the oil company why you haven't tapped into it. The oil company will tell you because they won't approve our license to do it. They won't give us the permit to actually pull that oil out of the ground.
They'll give us the permit to find it, but they won't give us the permit to extract it.
And if the media tells us one more time that the XL pipeline won't solve this problem, okay, I agree. But what it would instantly do is lower the price of the barrel of oil, because the barrel of oil is a traded commodity, right? People speculate on it. Is it going to go up or is it going to go down? And so what you're going to see right now is this fluctuation that we're having. I really believe that the oil is going to go to 250 by the end of June, and I've actually invested in it. People are like, you're crazy to do it now. Hold my beer is what I'll say.
Well, it dropped yesterday, Galen. It took a nosedive yesterday.
And guess what, Tom? That's when I bought it. I was pretty happy. So 50 in June, and let's see what happens.
Well, when it's $73 in June, remember you said it was $52.50 in June.
It's going to be $73. It'll be $100 by the end of the month.
Well, it fell from 128 yesterday, fell all the way down to, I think the low point was 112, 113, something like that.
Yeah, I got it at 118. I can't remember, 128, 118, something like that. But it'll be 150 here in the next 2 weeks, and then I think it'll be 200 around Memorial Day, and then 250 in June when everybody's traveling.
Well, the Florida legislature did us a big solid yesterday.
Oh, how about that?
They're going to do a moratorium. They're going to cancel the state tax on gasoline, 26.5 cents a gallon, 26.5 cents per gallon. This Florida state legislature is going to cancel in October, because that's the least amount of tourists, and they don't want to lose the tourist dollar tax, so they're waiting until October to cancel it.
And by the way, I think that is very smart, because that's the time when it hits the residencies with the least amount of impact. We need those tourists to pay for all of our infrastructure. Right? There's a reason we don't have proper...
I need a quarter break right now, Galen. I need a quarter break right now.
No, I respect that, but I thought that was good legislation. I really did. And that's going to run from October, November, December, January, and then I think it times out again in February.
It does.
So or what do they call it, sunset?
Yeah, it gives Floridians a break when it's mostly Floridians paying the tax.
That's correct, and I thought that was smart legislation. I did. I was like, okay. I've never had a problem with paying for taxes. What I have a problem with is when Congress yesterday, if you noticed, they passed another $1.5 trillion in an omnibus package. it won't pass the
Yeah,
Senate.
Galen, but it had
Let's be
13
very
billion.
clear.
It had 13 billion for Ukraine.
Who cares? Why? I don't care about the Ukraine.
1.5 trillion,
federal
and their 1.5 trillion, and their benchmark was 13 billion goes to Ukraine.
Well, what they
Okay,
need to do
where's
is-
the rest of the 1.5 trillion go?
How about if you did that? How about if you did this? And again, I'm so sick of the. Whatever. I mean, we could debate Ukraine all day long, but how about you send that 13 billion back to the people who sent it there in the first place? A, and then B. Now I guess they're really happy they're going to pass this the school loan forgiveness package.
Yes.
Do you know who owns? Again, I read another.
Well, let's take a break and come back and talk about the school loans.
This one really got.
Let's talk about the school loans on the other side. We'll be back at this time out. 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. Says WOCA, the source.
You or your loved one being released from a hospital and wondering how you'll manage? Inform your physician that you want to go to Palm Garden of Ocala at 2700 Southwest 34th Street for your rehabilitation. Palm Garden provides pain management, post-discharge follow-up, diabetic care, psychosocial support, and so much more. Plus, they even offer outpatient rehab. This award-winning care facility has a team of licensed professionals dedicated to enhancing your independence. Call 352-854-6262 today.
Are you wasting time boxing up packages and going to the post office or the UPS store? Are you tired of not knowing what you'll pay when you get there? Just Ship offers pickup service and flat rate packaging and postage rates, which takes the guesswork out of shipping while saving you time and money. So quit wasting valuable time and money. Call or text Just Ship at 352-234-3840. That's 352-234-3840. Just Shipped.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
New arrivals and new savings are waiting for you at Blockers Furniture. With over 80,000 square feet of the best selection and best prices you can find on furniture, mattresses, home accents, accessories, and more. And with new trucks arriving weekly, Blockers has the best available in-stock selection. Unlike many other furniture companies that will have you waiting for months to get what you want or need, come see everything that Blockers has to offer. Blockers Furniture, 2402 Southwest College Road, next to Hobby Lobby.
Join me this Thursday the 10th when Alan Penska, CEO of the Gainesville Regional Airport, Aaron Porter, Manager PR and Marketing at Gainesville Regional Airport, Debbie Frederick, the COO, University Air Center, and Pam Landis, the Flight School Director at the University Air Center, will be my guests to discuss the Gator Fly-In and Armed Services Appreciation Day happening at the University Air Center on Saturday the 19th. We will be learning all about the exciting events that day with fun, food, and so much more. Be sure to listen this Thursday the 10th at 10:30.
You know what you want to do in retirement, but do you know how to get there? Tune in to Coasting into Retirement with Gary Marriage of Nature Coast Financial Advisors, Sunday mornings at 8 to get answers to your retirement planning questions. Plan today so you can do the things you've always dreamt about doing in retirement. Listen Sunday mornings at 8 to Coasting into Retirement with Gary Marriage of Nature Coast Financial Advisors.
Our firm offers insurance services.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks. On a Thursday, before we went to break, we were about to get involved into a discussion about student loans, something I know quite a bit about is my student loan payments that I make every month. Have me paying my student. I've been paying on my student loans now, Galen Udolph and Life South Joins. It's brought to you by the good folks at Penn Flooring, Just Shipped, and Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center. I've been paying off and on because of forbearances and when I went into default a couple times, because that's the life of a student loan person. I've been paying on them, and because I miss payments here and miss payments there, you got to start over again. And so I'm never eligible for any of these forgivenesses because I worked in the school system, which would qualify me. But now you got to work 120 months. I never did that. So I'm just stuck paying these student loans that at the rate I pay at a little over $200 and some odd a month, I will still owe around $21,000 when I'm 100 years old.
All right.
That's a problem.
Okay. What's your solution to that problem?
I just keep paying my bill.
Right. I mean, so somebody took a risk.
I borrowed the money. Somebody took a risk, loaned me money, and I used it to pay for school. It's my debt. I got to pay it.
So do you think I'm obligated in any way, shape, or form to pay back your loan?
You didn't go to the class. I did.
Right.
Why would you have to pay? That would be like you didn't use my electricity. Why do I think you need to pay my electric bill?
Well, and I will tell you what people say because I ask this very question a lot because I'm surrounded by a bunch of kids with student loan debt. And I ask them this. I'm like, okay, so you chose, well, it was my only opportunity to go to school. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Let's just assume that's true. Why should I pay your loan? Because that's what you're asking me to do by the federal government just forgiving it, right? And that means they're going to pay these loan companies X amount of dollars on the dollar.
Yes.
Right? They're going to pay a percentage on the dollar.
They're not going to. And by the way, these are loans that, by the way, were subsidized by the federal government, which led to these high loans. And I'll tell you why before we get into it. Before the federal government subsidized student loans, you had to go to a private lender. There were student loan lenders, or you had to go to a bank or something. And it was very difficult to get loans because you had to have good credit and you had to show you could pay the loans back. Well, the federal government got involved, and so tuition stayed low. Federal government gets involved and subsidizes the loans. And what that means is when you go to a car lot and you buy a car and GMAC is your finance company, you don't owe the car lot that money. GMAC pays the car lot in full, and then you owe GMAC the money. Well, what happens with student loans is when a college charges you for the student loan, the federal government pays them the full money, and then you owe the federal government. Well, when schools saw that, they go, hold on. The federal government will pay us so we get our money up front, and then they owe the government? Well, school just went from $6,000 a year to $35,000 a year because the government will pay us in full. And so and nobody told the schools they couldn't do it. That's free enterprise. If the government's going to allow them to do it, that's capitalism. And now we have this astronomical problem, and the Democrats' way to get out of it is we'll just act like it never happened.
Well, what the Democrats are saying, and people who are for this student loan forgiveness are saying, is that this is going to help people of color, right? But when you look, and I texted you this article because I thought it illustrated extremely well. When you look at the two largest categories of people who currently have student debt, it's very clear. It's white, right? 21% is white, 30% is Asian. Now, if you look at when you look by culture and by how much you make by race, Asians are the number one group, right? And they include Indians, the dot, not the feather Indians, in that grouping, right? That's part of the Asian. Black and African American make up 10%, and the next largest group is Hispanic and Latino, because that is a rising group within our country, right? The Hispanics, they're figuring out how to capitalize on the American dream, and that's where it's going. And also, if you look at what these people make per year, it's 3 times the national average of their community. So these are already people, because they're educated, they're making more money, and that's why they got student loans in the first place, because they would be in a position to pay them back. So this isn't helping this low class, right, poor families.
The low income.
That are
Not low class, the low income
I'm
class.
sorry.
Low income.
You're right. You're fair. I apologize. I misspoke. Thank you for clarifying that. These low income families, no, it's not. That's not who it helps. My wife got a graduate degree, and I'll be paying that for the next 5 years, because it's $75,000.
Well, here's the problem with this
program.
program.
That all day long.
Here's the problem with this program altogether. The red tape and the way if you miss a payment, and when I say if you miss a payment, if you say you pay ACH every month, and that's where it's directly taken from your bank account and paid. It's a wire transfer, right? And you do it every day. Well, if that day falls on a holiday or something, then even though the bank pays it on the following Monday, the federal student loans say that it was paid late, and so then you have to start the whole 120-month program over again.
I don't have that.
Believe me. But think about that. Think about this. You're 117 months in to your 120 months for loan forgiveness, okay? Sure. And then your ACH comes out on a Monday, but it was your due date was on a Saturday. Even if you were going to get your loan forgiven, now you got to still pay again, and it restarts again where you got to pay 120 months again in full payment while holding that same job to make sure you get your loan debt forgiveness. So even though they run the red herring out there to make it look like this is going to be forgiveness and everything, you know how many people have actually qualified for student loan forgiveness under the program right now? 100,000 people. That's it. Only 100,000 people have qualified the way the system is set up now to forgive student loan, but it sounds like they're going to forgive. We've set up $6 billion for loan forgiveness if you qualify for it. Right now, only 100,000 people have met the eligibility requirements as they stand right now.
Well, I don't like bailouts. I don't like.
No, I understand that. I understand that. But even though this is a bailout so they can look good on paper, they're not really letting anybody qualify for this. It just sounds good.
That does sound terrible. But then if you look at even Bright Futures, I mean, who it helps the rich get richer.
Of course it does.
I mean, and trust me, I love Bright Futures. I mean, I'll put it this way. This year, so my second son's going to go.
Look, we got about 30 seconds. Make it quick.
And I'm going to spend between my two kids. My out-of-pocket will be about $20,000, between $18,000 and $20,000, and that's including Bright Futures and scholarships.
Yeah. It's expensive to send kids to college. Maybe vocational school's the way. Maybe vocational school's the way to go.
Well, you can make $110,000 being an AC tech.
100%. We'll be right back after this timeout. You're listening to Ocala Talks, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Casting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
Ukraine's President Zelensky said the Russian military's bombing of a children's hospital and maternity ward in Mariupol Wednesday, killing and wounding many people, was a war crime and proof that genocide of Ukrainians is taking place. President Zelensky shames world leaders for not doing more before the deaths.
We didn't push Putin. We didn't speak with him a lot. We didn't find the dialogue with him. We did nothing. And it's true. Yesterday, the world did nothing. I'm sorry.
As the world discusses removing Russia from the internet as punishment for its violent war, a broad coalition of civil society groups are making the case citizens in Russia should not be deprived of basic internet access. Their basic message is Russian citizens need to know the truth, what Putin is doing, and the internet offers that to them. USA Radio News.
This week on RVER, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
Hey, Chief, we got a damaged RV on its way to the OR.
Well, that sounds like a job for the new head of RV surgery.
Wait, are you promoting me?
Congrats, Martinez.
Doctor, that RV's flatlining. morning.
Well, that sounds like a job for the new head of nursing.
So you're just promoting everyone now?
Yeah, kind of looks that way, doesn't it?
When your RV really needs saving, Progressive has you covered. See if you could save with a leader in RV insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, covered subject to policy terms.
How long does it take to tackle a home project? With Angie, you could cross it off your list before this ad is over. Just tell us what you need, indoor or outdoor, repair or redesign, and we handle the rest, sending a top pro to get it done. You don't have to lift a finger, except to tap the screen or click the mouse. Plus, Angie is free to use. So bring us your next home project, and we'll bring it home. Download the app or go to Angie.com, that's ANGI.com, to get started.
On the first and third Wednesday mornings each month at 9:05 a.m., Robert Colin with On Top of the World will be our guest as we learn all about the exciting lifestyle and new home choices available at Ocala's premier adult active community, On Top of the World. From time to time, Robert will bring guests, and you're sure to enjoy our little chats. After all, you deserve the world, and we bring it to you.
Do you know it's time to grow? And the place to get your grow on is Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens on Southeast 38th Street in Ocala. Now listen up for a sample of this week's absolute best inflation-fighting deals at Bob Wine's. First up, of course, Bob's famous dwarf ever-blooming Red Ruffle azaleas. 2 years ago, they sold for $3.99. Last year, they sold for $3.99. And this year, they're still super low-priced at $3.99. Bob just got some truly gorgeous periwinkle, just $5.99. And check out the fabulous gardenias, get 2 for $12. Their most popular quality red mulch, 3 bags, $12. And get a huge bag of Bob's famous pine straw, just $5.99. It won't blow away, it won't float away. Check out all the specials at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens, then get ready to get your grow on. Bob's on Southeast 38th Street in Ocala, daily till 4:30, Saturdays till 3, and the same blooming location since 1952.
The Ocala Golf Club, one of Ocala's premier golf courses, from its pristine 18-hole course layout to its amazing pro shop. Jason Linhart and the staff at Ocala Golf offer everything that you need for your golf outing. That's the Ocala Golf Club. Experience country club style golf at municipal prices. You won't go wrong with the Ocala Golf Club. Call them for a tee time today, 352-401-6917.
Veterans Helping Veterans USA. Call 352-433-2320. We help veterans and their families with limited financial assistance, counseling, employment referrals, and a food and clothing bank. You can help in making a huge difference in the veterans' lives we serve by donating food, clothing, household items, or direct financial assistance. All donations are tax deductible. Veterans Helping Veterans USA. 352-433-2320. Thank you for your attention, and God bless America.
Are you a veteran living in Florida? Do you want to earn while you learn? Call 954-434-8220 or visit our website at nsied.org now. Are you a veteran living in Florida who wants training in farming, ranching, and allied services? Are you a veteran living in Florida who wants help with job placement? Call 954-434-8220. North-South Institute Veteran Training Program is a mix of online and hands-on in-person training designed for you to earn while you learn. Once you register for the program, you'll get a stipend of approximately $300 per month for 3 months. And you can get an additional stipend to offset your travel expenses. You can also get another $75 for referring a veteran who completes the program. If you are a veteran living in Florida, call the North-South Institute Veteran Training Program now, 954-434-8220, or visit our website at nsied.org now.
The Golden Spoon Diner and Seafood Restaurant, a true New York-style diner in Ocala. Try our breakfast special of 2 eggs served with home fries or hash browns and toast for just $4.49. We have an all-you-can-eat catfish special daily for $14.99, and Thursday through Sunday we have prime rib. Happy hour for food starts at 2 p.m. The Golden Spoon Diner and Seafood Restaurant is located at 5400 Southwest College Road in the Heathbrook Commons Plaza. Open daily from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. We will see you soon.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks. On a Thursday, Galen Enoff from Life South joins us. He does every day. Brought to you by the good folks at Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center, located at 2700 Southwest 34th. They offer skilled nursing, physical, occupational, and speech therapy. If you have any questions how they're handling the COVID-19 pandemic, give them a call at 352-854-6262. We'd also like to thank family-owned and operated Penn Flooring, serving Marion County for over 30-plus years. Penn Flooring is a full-service flooring company dedicated to finding the best solution for your flooring needs. They have experience in both the commercial and residential flooring. Go see their showroom at 1201 Southwest 17th Street here in Ocala, or give them a call at 352-351-3420. We'd also like to thank JustShip.net. They've flipped the script on shipping. Before, you had to go stand in line at the UPS or stand in line at the post office. Well, now you don't have to do that. Just go to JustShip.net, make an appointment. They'll come to you, pick up your package. They'll package it up for you. They'll go stand in line at the UPS store or the post office. Also, they're opening a new brick-and-mortar store where you can, if you would like, drop it off if you're out and about and you want to drop it off. 811 North Magnolia will be the spot of the new store coming in about 2 weeks. They will open the new door. We'll keep you updated on that. JustShip.net, saving you time and money. And as we know, time is money, so they save you money on top of money. Go to JustShip.net. Galen Enoff from Life South joins us. We've been talking about student loans and forgiveness. You know, Galen, it's kind of like when Obama bailed out the car manufacturers. I said, what you do is shut those factories. You send those union workers that are making $40 an hour for running a pneumatic screwdriver, screwing 4 screws into a side mirror. You run them out of there at $40 an hour. You close it. After about 18 months, you reopen. You come up with a new business plan. You reopen and say, hey, I'll pay you $18 an hour. And after 18 months of no money coming in, they'd probably be happy to take $18 an hour. That's how you get car companies. You don't bail them out by using my tax dollars. You just don't do it.
Well, I'll tell you what. I understand the concept. It's a bad example because the debt that the automotive companies had was
could have bankrupted the world supposedly. Yeah.
No, the 50% of every car sold, that profit was going to benefits for workers who would retire.
The largest group of millionaires in the world are retired United Auto Workers.
Right, and that's because they were getting that check. And so what they had to do is they had to somehow restructure that because they signed a bad deal in the 60s and 70s, and the unions just dominated. That was the problem. They had an unsustainable model. But I agree with you. We should have never bailed them out. That was they could have just declared bankruptcy and figured it out and structured it that way.
Chrysler did. Chrysler did in the 80s.
Ford didn't take a single dollar, right? And they figured it out. But again, that's a different argument. I'm against the bank bailouts. I thought that was absolutely atrocious what they did, because it's the bank's fault we got into that problem in the first place with the housing bubble.
Well, a lot of people will tell you it's Taylor Bean and Whitaker's fault.
Well, locally, I think that's a perfect example.
Well, they were the largest. They were the largest secondary lender in the country.
Well, and then of course they made it worse by then taking in all the what they call TARP, right? TARP loans.
Yep.
They took all those TARP loans, and then guy left the country.
But we got but we got a great renovated Marion Theater out of the deal.
Well, yeah, and I know that was really important to at least 2 people I heard on the radio talking about it every single day for like 3 years. It was nothing but the Marion Theater. I walk by it now. There's like 5 people going to it.
Okay, there's 7 people. Stop counting wrong. Stop counting after 5. There's 7.
No, you're counting the ticket taker and the person inside doing concessions.
Well, they're there, aren't they?
That's 5 who may be paid. Maybe.
Okay.
Sports Talk Radio. Killing Marion Theater.
Adam Reardon right now is somewhere listening to this show going, keep it going, Galen, keep it going.
Well, he and we used to talk about it all the time.
Oh,
I'm like, what are you doing? I thought you were a sports talk
He used to
station.
call me
I don't
every
care
day.
about the Marion Theater.
He used to call me every day. I know.
Oh, it drove me nuts. I'm like, okay, I get it. The Marion Theater needs to be saved. Fantastic.
That's why we created the show, The Voice of Ocala.
Yeah.
On WOCA radio, by the way.
And that's a better place for it. I mean, 100%. I wanted to hear about the second-string offensive lineman from Florida Gators.
Well, you know. Speaking of sports, I'm glad you brought sports up because this
I feel
weekend.
Good now. I feel better. That may be the first time I've ever got you, and you're like, damn it, I can't say a thing.
There's nothing I can say. I was a party to it. There was nothing I can say. I was the board operator and the co-host of the show. Nothing I can say. You know, we were talking about saving the Marion Theater on a sports talk show. Should have been on WOCA at Ocala at Voice of Ocala. Oh wait, it was after we moved. That's right. Right. So big sports weekend though this weekend.
It's pretty funny.
When you look at things coming up here, you got first off Tiger Woods last night inducted into the Hall of Fame. I thought he gave a pretty good speech, to be honest to you.
Yeah, I mean, he was obviously moved by the whole thing, and I thought his daughter's speech was pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, it's always rough. It's always rough when your kid inducts you because it's obviously nothing more than
fluff.
You know, yeah. I mean, like your daughter's going to say anything negative, but
she's not going to roast you. She's not going to roast you very hard.
No,
you know.
No, but the speechwriter, because let's be honest, they paid somebody, but did a good job.
It would have been better. I promise you, I would have much rather, and I believe me when I say this, it hurts me to say this. I'd have rather saw Nota Begay give the speech to bring him into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, jeez. Oh, Nota would have cried the whole time.
The whole time. It would have been gold, Jerry, gold.
Oh, man.
But, you know, a lot of people, I saw a lot of people on social media going, how can you put a guy in a Hall of Fame when there's still a chance he can play some more? And that's because the Golf Hall of Fame is different. Because you can play the game till you're in your 70s or 80s. It's a different entity.
Yeah. And I wonder how many more visitors they'll get to Ponte Vedra, well, not Ponte Vedra, but St. Johns County because Tiger's now in the Hall of Fame. I bet you there are probably people like, there's a Golf Hall of Fame?
I promise you there are people that say
Tiger.
That. And it's in St. Augustine.
Now it'll get some notoriety.
And it's in St. Augustine? I mean, let's be honest.
I was there at the opening.
Which one has the more notoriety in that area? Bill Murray's restaurant or the World Golf Hall of Fame?
Well, they're right on the same. They share a house.
They do, but
I was at I was there, and when they opened that place,
it was. It's been there from the very beginning. Yeah, been there, and it's the only place you can go. You can go play 17 at Sawgrass there.
Sure,
it's right out front,
right.
And if you make a hole in one, you get badges to the next Masters.
That's true.
They've only given one set of badges away.
Yeah, pretty easy.
But it's always into the wind. I mean, the wind's howling. It's 135 yards, but the wind's blowing 25 miles an hour. You got to use crappy clubs and everything. They probably
you have to use their
probably use 80% flight golf balls and everything. It's like a carnival. You know what I mean? It's like a carnival.
Yeah, it's not easy, is it?
Speaking of the Players' Championship, the Players' Championship gets underway today. The Florida swing, and just in time, Florida March weather says, "How you doing?"
Well, maybe they'll play. My buddy is a marshal, and he has been at the last. I think this is his 8th straight year of being a marshal.
So he bucked up to $210 to be a marshal.
Yeah, well, he gets all the gear, and they get a free round of golf and all that. He loves it.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's on 14.
I have people that tell me it's the best $200 they've ever spent in their life. Because they get all the swag. They get all the swag. They're inside the ropes. They do communicate with some of the golfers. And they get to play TPC Sawgrass.
You know what I find hilarious is before before he started doing this, I used to rail against like Phil Mickelson. He goes, oh, I love Phil. And now he's like, man, I don't like that guy at all. You should see the way he treats people. I'm like, no, I already did.
Yeah,
and
we
I
were.
told you that.
We were
You
in the
didn't
media.
believe me.
We were in the media. We see how he acts behind the ropes when he's in the media center and
Yeah.
everything. We know he's not. We know he's not all signing golf balls and giving them to little kids with a smile on his face guy. We know that about him.
There is a reason why everybody in golf railed against that guy when he made a miscomment or is taken out of context.
Is it? You know, a good comparison with Phil Mickelson. Ty Cobb. Really good, but nobody in his peers liked him. That's why they didn't invite Ty Cobb to the Field of Dreams, because nobody could stand him.
Yeah. That's interesting. That's
But
interesting.
people tell me all the time, Phil's not like that. You don't and I go, okay, well, keep living your pipe dream. He's not. At least Ian Poulter is a jerk behind the scenes and in front of the scenes. At least Tiger was a jerk behind the scenes and in front of the scenes. I hate it when you're all fluff and sweet in front of the camera and then you're a jerk behind the camera, but everybody thinks you're all fluff and smiles.
Sure. Yeah. But there's a lot of guys like that.
A lot of guys.
Again, I'm not a Phil guy, so it doesn't matter.
I'm not either. So it's kind of, we're beating up on him because we're not a fan either. So
do you think they're going to finish the TPC this weekend?
Monday.
Do you think they'll run today?
I haven't looked closely at the weather report in Jacksonville, but it doesn't look so. It all depends on whether it's thunderstorming or not. If it's just raining, they'll play as long as the course is playable, and that course drains well.
One of the best in the world.
So if it's playable, if the course is playable, they'll play. But the question is the course playable? Hey, we got to take a break. We're up against a break. We'll be right back after this timeout.
Man, all these advertisers loving this segment.
I know. We'll be right back after this timeout on Ocala Talks, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source. On Saturday, March 19th, the University Air Center will host the Gator Fly-In and Armed Services Appreciation Day. All branches of the military are invited, alongside civilian and law enforcement pilots, to display their aircraft. Vote for the best civilian aircraft and People's Choice Aircraft Contest. Admission and parking are free. There will be helicopter and airplane rides, food trucks, and live music for all to enjoy. Again, that's March 19th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the University Air Center, where you can fly easy from Gainesville nonstop to Atlanta on Delta Airlines, Charlotte, Dallas, and Miami on American Airlines. Enjoy the fly-in, and remember, you can easily fly in and out to 343 destinations around the world in one stop on American and Delta Airlines. Enjoy the Gator Fly-In, and remember to fly easy, fly Gainesville.
Howdy folks, RL here for Dairy Queen again to tell you about what's hot and what's not. Dairy Queen has some of the best char-grilled chicken breasts on earth, as well as their chicken breast salad. And the burgers are exceptional, cooked on a real grill for the best flavor and less fat. And for dessert, blizzards are unequaled. Personally, banana split is my all-time favorite. Dairy Queen Silver Springs, where we always treat you like kings and queens.
Are you suffering from neck, back, or leg pain? Go Green CBD Store can help you with holistic, all-natural, lab-tested products that help with pain, stress, anxiety, inflammation, PTSD, and so much more. We stock smokable products, gummies, chocolate, coffee, tea, even pain cream. Yes, we even have treats and oils for your dogs or cats. Go Green CBD is located in the Paddock Mall in the center court. We're open every day. Come in today for a free sample.
Hello, I'm Mark Sears with Regency Printing. With over 10 years in the printing business, I know you'll find Regency Printing the place for all your local printing needs. Plus, I have fax services, mailbox rentals, notary service, U.S. mail, pack and ship, all at one convenient location, 2375 Northeast 25th Avenue. Just look for the yellow signs. Regency Printing, 789-6683. That's 789-6683. Regency Printing.
You're getting ready to move and you work hard. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. You need pros. Trained professional moving experts to do the heavy lifting for you. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. They care about your things as much as you do, and they do it fast and right. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. Visit twomeninatruck.com and get moving.
2 Men in a Truck.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back as we wrap up hour number 1 with Galen Unall from Life South. Brought to you by the good folks at Penn Flooring, JustShip.net, and Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center. Galen, also this weekend, the Players' Championship, we know is going to be rain-soaked. But you can still play in the rain as long as you're not thundering and lightning, and the course is playable. A place that you can't play in the rain, a place that we've both been to numerous times, if you really want to get your lunch mixed up, go stand trackside as one of those funny cars or Top Fuel dragsters come blowing by you. The Gator Nationals in town again for its stop. This is, unless you've been to Gator Nationals, there's no way to explain the power that you experience at the Gator Nationals. There's just no way to explain it.
No, and it's not something we did when I was growing up, right? Because it was always around TPC or something else. And so I grew up going to the Players' Championship or the Jacksonville Open or the other millions of names that it had. So the first time I went, I was a photographer for WCJB, and I'm standing there in the camera pit thing.
Right.
And the first one started up, I almost dropped the camera. I mean, the way it just shakes. And you got to remember, I grew up going to Daytona. I mean, I have seen some cars going at speed, but it shook me to my core. And Jim Abbott, who's actually a really good friend of the family and my son's godfather, who was at TV20 for decades, he laughed. He started laughing, and I looked. I'm like, oh my God. He goes, yeah, I really thought you were going to drop the camera. But it's not just the noise, because it is extremely loud. It's the sheer power.
Yeah, my
ground
experience.
moves.
Yeah, my first experience was I was working for ESPN Radio, and we got credentials and everything. So I go, and I'm in the infield area in between the two tracks. It's a Wednesday, practice runs and everything, and one of the guys there for ESPN, who's a cameraman, goes, you ever been here and seen this? I go, no, it's my first time with the funny cars and everything. He goes, when did you eat lunch? Because they had just, they put a big spread out up in the tower for lunch and everything. He goes, when did you eat lunch? I go, I just came down from the tower just eating lunch. He laughs. I go, what's so funny? He goes, you're going to eat again. I go, what do you mean? He goes, you'll need to eat again. I go, what do you mean? And as he says that, we're standing right on the track. The tree turns red, yellow, green. They nail it. Funny car comes by me. I'm like 15 feet. The only thing separating me is that concrete barrier. And as it comes by me, it unsettles my stomach so much that he was right. I had to eat again. He was entirely correct, because my lunch was now on the ground right in front of where I was standing, and I had to go eat again, because literally the power that came by me upset my stomach to the point where I had to go eat again, just like he laughed about and said.
Well, and I always tell people that when you're at Daytona and the cars are coming by you at speed, you feel it in your chest. And you were dead on about the dragster. You feel it in your gut.
You feel it in your gut.
You feel it in your bones. And I remember the first day, and we were there for all 4 days, like filming. And I remember getting in my car after day one, and I couldn't hear the engine in the car running.
No, you don't know your car's running.
And you've got ear protection.
Oh, of course you do.
And this is why all those people are deaf.
I learned to wear ear protection. I wore ear, the foam the foam that goes in the ear, and then I put noise canceling headphones on. And you still couldn't hear your car motor run when you got in your car at the end of the day.
No. And you're like jaw. I remember my jaw hurting, and it was 5 days. And you go home, and while you're sleeping, you ever been like out on the water all day long, and then when you go home, you feel like the ocean's still moving?
Same deal.
Right. You feel the cars in your body that night. And again, I don't want anybody to think it's a bad thing.
It's a great thing.
It is an incredible experience.
To stand in those
skip a day.
To stand in those stairwells at the tower where the media gets to stand, and that's sound when they drop the hammer, and that sound reverberates through that stairwell tower. It'll hurt you. It'll hurt you.
Yeah. You don't want to. There's certain places you do not want to be. But I again, the dragsters are. The drag races are something you should see because it's in our backyard.
And every ticket, the great thing is every ticket's a pit pass.
Different.
Every ticket's a pit pass.
And those drivers are so accommodating.
They really are.
You want to go talk to John Force? Okay.
Go talk to him. The legend of the sport. Go talk to him.
But he will talk to you like Don Garlitz, who is a legend, and all these guys.
Yeah.
They'll talk to you. They got nothing else to do. They run one, maybe two races.
And by the way,
the rest of the time they're out there just talking to you.
By the way, everybody in this area should be pulling for the R&L Carriers top fuel dragster because R&L Carrier does a lot for our community and a lot for our economy. So we should be pulling for the R&L Carriers top fuel dragster.
John Force may be the antithesis of Phil Mickelson. He is exactly the same 24 hours a day.
Oh yeah.
I don't care who he's talking to.
That smile is genuine. He talks from his heart. There's nothing fake about John Force.
And apparently his daughter's the same way, Ashley. But he's like this. He realizes he has the greatest job in the world.
He does.
He is strapped on to a jet engine, and he's just there to make sure I don't crash. And what a fun guy to talk.
By the way, speaking of jet engines, one of the funnest parts of that, to watch those motorcycle dragsters, know that they're one pebble away from being slung up into the crowd.
Those guys, there's a reason why they're all in their 20s.
Yeah, because they don't make it to their 30s. Hey, Galen.
And they advance, then they get into the four wheels when they get older. Yeah, it's remarkable. Absolutely remarkable.
Galen, with all that going on this weekend, there's still a chance though to give blood. Where's the Bloodmobile today?
Well, and I will tell you, we are in a critical shortage. A lot of traumas going on right now. So this weekend, today's only Thursday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Come find us today. We're going to be at the Walmart out in the Shores, but as always, we're right there on the boulevard. Find us at lifesouth.org. Give to Get the Blood Life. We are an emergency need, and we need you. Donate blood.
Galen, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you, guys. Bye, all.
We'll be right back with the guys from Vets Helping Vets. It's Vets News coming up next on Ocala Talks, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
Russia throws its weight around at the U.S.-Iran nuclear deal that could cancel the entire deal. A last-minute Russian demand threatens to scrub negotiations as the United States appears unwilling to engage with Russia on the matter. Just as the final issues were being resolved, Russia presented a new obstacle by demanding written guarantees from the United States that Western sanctions targeting Moscow over its invasion of Ukraine would not affect its trade with Iran. United Airlines is allowing workers who refused a COVID vaccine to return. Those who are exempt due to religious or medical reasons can't come off paid leave at the end of the month. United was the first major airline with a vaccine mandate, firing about 200 employees who refused to put it in their bodies. New hires must still be protected at United Airlines. For those of us still playing the daylight savings game, we're going to lose an hour this weekend as daylight savings time kicks in. USA Radio News.
This report is sponsored by Bank of America. As the way we work continues to change and we move towards a new normal, access to effective learning and development opportunities remains top of mind for today's workforce. Here's John Jordan, head of the Academy, Bank of America's global learning and professional development organization for employees.
As many of us navigate new job descriptions, adapt to changing priorities and shifting demands, and contemplate what's next for our careers, it's more important than ever to prioritize personal growth and development. At Bank of America, lifelong learning is a part of our culture. By offering immersive learning experiences and personalized guidance and mentorship, we're focused on giving employees the skills and knowledge they need to achieve their goals and be successful in their jobs, both now and in the future.
For more about Bank of America's resources, visit bankofamerica.com/careers.
It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. The invasion of Ukraine by Russia will impact the peanut market. For those companies that are shipping into the Russian and Ukraine market, they will have uncertain scenarios for a long time. The sure fall of demand is first. Also, the rise in the cost of logistics of getting peanuts into those two countries and the maritime freight space on vessels, and above all, difficulties in redirecting merchandising as a consequence of the maritime lines. They said that the first consequence of the war is further rise in fertilizer cost, the increase of corn and soybean prices. They said Russia and Ukraine are major importers of peanuts from Brazil, Argentina, and even India. Those origins will need to find alternate routes. Brazil will be the most impacted by the war, with 50% of their total exports going to Russia and Ukraine. The U.S. exported only 370 tons to these countries last year, with the peanut butter accounting for most of it. In contrast, Brazil shipped in 126,000 tons to Russia and Ukraine in 2021. The potential loss of those markets is a much bigger problem for our competition. So it'll be a problem for Argentina and Brazil shipping into those markets, but we right now are not a major shipper of peanuts into Ukraine and Russia.